Welcome back, everybody. Joining us now was the Chief Counsel for Nominations to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Senator Chuck Grassley, and has since moved on to found the Article 3 project. Mike Davis, great to have you with us again.
Thank you for having me.
Mike, you're one of those folks that we look to for stellar legal commentary, and I just want to get your immediate top-line take on what took place Monday at Mar-a-Lago, the raiding of the 45th president's residence.
What happened with the raid of former President Trump's home and office is unprecedented and likely unlawful. It was certainly unnecessary. President Trump was cooperating with the National Archives. This was a records dispute with the National Archives. Under no scenario should this raid have occurred unless they thought there were dead bodies in Mar-a-Lago. This is so unprecedented, and the Biden Justice Department, Attorney General Merrick Garland, has completely politicized the federal judicial process, and they've crossed a red line here.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. At the top of the show, Mike, we talked a little bit about what we're learning. June 3rd, President Trump and his lawyers voluntarily allow the FBI and a lawyer from the National Security Division of the Justice Department to come to the complex, look around. It shows them all the places where they store things, they look at things. It's so cordial that the FBI comes back and suggests a better lock for the storage locker. And they go away thinking, hey, we've signaled, if you ever need us, come back. And then all of a sudden they wake up on August 8th and discover they're being raided. That doesn't normally happen in law under any circumstance. Any justification you can think of under the law why they would come in with such force when they had voluntary rights to the place already?
None at all. And we're talking about an office of the former president. It's funded by the federal government. They get federal office space, federal staff, Secret Service protection, security clearances, secure office space called SCIFs. There is no reason at all that they thought, even if there were classified records there, which we could talk about more, there weren't classified records there, but even if there were classified records there is no reason to believe that any of those records were going to get destroyed or go into the wrong hands. There is no reason that they should have done that. If you're going to do a raid, especially a home raid of a former president, it should be your last option. And there's no reason this should have happened.
Yeah, pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Mike, I want to ask you about a story that John published on his website just a little while ago. The fact that Judge Reinert recused himself on June 22nd of this year, recused himself regarding civil litigation between the Trump Organization and Hillary Clinton regarding Russia collusion. But then just 6 weeks later, he somehow found some impartiality. Maybe he was saving it up in order to approve this FBI search warrant.
Yeah, this magistrate judge is in hot water now because it is very clear that there's a potential ethics violation for this judge. There's no question that his impartiality can reasonably be questioned here, especially when he just recused on another matter involving Trump. And if you look at his social media post, federal judges, in this case federal magistrate judges, they're not supposed to be on social media talking about political matters, and this judge is on there criticizing Trump and being a Democrat cheerleader and operative. This magistrate judge is going to be in some hot legal water here, and he's probably going to face ethics complaints, maybe even from the Article 3 project.
Wow, that's some news that we just broke. Look at that. Mike, you played an important role. You helped vet judges for the bench, make sure that they were qualified for this. Now, this is a unique situation. Magistrates don't get vetted by the Senate. They get appointed by the other judges to help out. He gets named in 2018, but as 2017, just a year earlier, he has a post where he questions the morality of Donald Trump, says he's nothing compared to a John Lewis. Even though he wasn't a judge at that moment, a magistrate at that moment, how serious is that if he rules in a case against Donald Trump after he becomes a magistrate?
Well, he likely violates the judicial canon, which puts him into an ethical process with the federal judiciary that can get him removed from cases and even thrown out of office. He's a magistrate. He's up for reappointment in 2026. I don't know why he was picked. He's a partisan activist. I'm not sure why the chief judge and the panel down in the Southern District of Florida thought this was a good idea to pick this guy. They certainly should not reappoint him in 2026, and they need to look at removing him if he violated his ethical duties by taking this highly unusual, probably unlawful move of ordering this home raid of a former president when there are so many other less restrictive ways they could have gotten this material from President Trump when he's cooperating.
Yeah.
Mike, when you consider the fact that he was cooperating, he had offered the FBI and the DOJ unprecedented, practically unlimited access to Mar-a-Lago, to his records, and then you see this happen, a raid that seems wholly unnecessary. Maybe I'm crazy here, but I see something like this and I think, okay, they want us to look at this, but there's something happening with the other hand. And I just wonder what it is they are trying to divert from. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that they're terrified that President Trump's going to run for president and he's going to win. And, you know, these leftists who scream about democracy all the time, they don't want democracy here. They don't want the American people to actually decide this next election. They tried to do this in the last election. They tried to use Russian collusion nonsense on the first time he won. They impeached him twice to overturn the election twice, effectively overturned the election twice. And they think that Mark Elias, the Democrat election attorney, found some obscure statute with the archives and the Espionage Act that if you mishandle presidential records, you can disqualify someone for running for office. That clearly doesn't apply to the President of the United States. It's not constitutional. The Constitution spells out how we elect presidents, and it's not going to be from some ticky-tacky records violation with bureaucrats at the National Archives that determines whether we get a vote for President Trump or not.
Yeah, so very important. Real quickly, we got about 30 seconds, Mike. Justice Clarence Thomas ending his stint as a guest lecturer, teacher at George Washington University. Your thoughts about why that happened?
These woke students at George Washington University are so stupid. They had a Supreme Court justice on their faculty that gives them prestige, that gives them opportunities to get highly coveted clerkships, and they just couldn't help themselves. They wanted to be, you know, woke baby law students, and they lost a Supreme Court justice. It's going to hurt their ratings. It's going to hurt their career prospects. So good job, George Washington University.
What a loss.
Yeah, I can't imagine the wealth of knowledge that those students are missing out on. I don't know. I thought college, the whole point of college was being faced with opinions that differ from your own so that you can battle those. And especially in the law field, you got to learn to debate. But maybe not at George Washington University anymore. Mike Davis of the Article 3 Project, we always appreciate you being on with us.
Thank you.